Hey guys, welcome to my vlog number 10. Don't hold me to it. I'll check the previous ones and I'll put the correct number when I post it. I wanted to say thank you to Nancy today. I ordered some soap from her. I got a lavender, a oatmeal, tea tree, and a coconut cream. She said to let them stay out until they could finish drying, that they last longer once they fully harden because they're a little soft. But she's in Canada. Okay, this is the oatmeal. What's going on with this? This is the oatmeal and tea tree, and it smells wonderful. Okay, this is the coconut cream. Oh, see that? All right, and then this is the lavender and tea tree. No, it's just lavender. So I have it on my little plate, and it's drying. And because she said to let it, harden because it'll last long. So I'm putting them back over here in their little spot. So, so today my day went fine until a whiny person started complaining about breaking their fingernail, and they kept complaining about their broken fingernail. And before you start, it was not a woman. No, it was not. Okay, it was somebody I see every day for the last, since I started this job, so it's been almost 5 years. And this person delivers stuff. And this person probably looks at my vlog. So, and I told this person that if you're going to keep whining like a woman, then you might as well become one. So, anyway, me and one of my other friends were discussing this whiny person who is heterosexual, but he also takes care of himself to the point where he will be considered to be metrosexual if you would go by that definition. Okay, so I commented about this on my Facebook, and apparently it offended someone who read it, but they didn't read the entire conversation because me and my friend had started discussing this. And so they went off and they said something about it, and then they added stuff to it. The one thing I learned from this was that I don't know what I learned from this, other than if you're gonna tell something, tell the whole story. That's what I learned from this. If you're gonna tell something, then tell the whole story. Okay. If my friend that I was discussing this with, who is gay, was not offended by the discussion we were having, and he would have let me know, believe me, if anything that we said was offensive, then the conversation would have been ended and the post would have been removed. But, as they say, this is an A and B conversation, and you can see your way out of it. Nothing that was meant to be harmful was said. If I did offend someone who is metrosexual or transgender by including this whiny person in your ranks, then I'm very sorry. I used to work for an attorney who dealt with transgender people who were having to go to court to get their names legally changed, to get court approval, to get their driver's license changed to their new identity, and things of that nature. So I am very sensitive to their needs, their plights, the problems they've had with housing, they're getting their mortgages, putting their new names. It's very stressful for them, and I respect them because what they're doing is they are becoming the person that they've always felt they were inside. and I can respect that. Just like I can respect openly gay people who are not going to live their life hiding from who they are and what they are and what they want to be and what they want to be in their life. Basically being true to themselves and being honest with themselves. So it upset me that this person would just, run off and do that, because they didn't even care to look at the conversation that me and Brian, who is openly gay, were having. They just ran off and to go tell a story. And it was their story. It was not what we were talking about. They never referenced it. They never posted it. They just went off and told a story. So, if you want to go tell stories, go tell stories. But I'm leaving my post up so that anyone who wants to read my post can go read my post and see that what was said, that was said. And everybody that knows me knows that I try to treat people the way I want to be treated, regardless of their sexual orientation and their walks in life. I don't care if you're rich, poor, or in between. I try to treat people the way I want to be treated. And that's just how I live my life. I'm not what's the best way to describe this? I believe there is a higher power, and people can worship that higher power in the way that their race, the way they were raised, the way they choose to worship that person or persons, male or female, that they believe this entity is, or entities, as the case may be. I'm always telling people all the time that if you were to never have read the Bible, ever read the Bible, but you had read science fiction and things of that nature, and then someone were to hand you a Bible, the first thing you would say is that angels and demons are otherworldly beings. And that's just, they're otherworldly beings. They are not humans. And people seem to forget that. They can believe in angels. They can believe in demons. They can believe in the Holy Spirit. They can believe in the Holy Ghost. But they can't, and they are not humans. But they can't believe that there are other life forms out there in this big old universe. I think that's kind of, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, that humans can think that we are the only ones out there. And if you ever thought about it, the Garden of Eden and things of that nature, then humans are an experiment. I call it like I see it. And that might ruffle some people's feathers, but hey, if you can believe in angels and demons and all powerful beings, then if you were to take everything word for word that you read or that somebody tells you in a book that none of us were around for when it was being written and revised, and it has been revised in many languages, and people don't seem to understand that either because people don't tell them that it's been revised, that there's portions of it that were mistranslated, and there's portions of it that were purposely removed. There are many different versions of the codex, and people don't seem to understand that either. And in this day and age, in various religions, you see where they are no longer following that religion the way it was supposed or it was written down to be followed. There are people who do not even allow certain parts of their culture to learn how to read and write, to keep them ignorant and make them have to believe what they are being told by human beings. And so if someone learns to read for themselves and then they read these documents and their whole world crumbles because they find out that they've been lied to all their life. They've been told lies all their lives. And so my thing is, if you're gonna read something, read it in its entirety before you run tell that, as they say. And if you know, that's just how I feel about that. So I am publicly making an apology to any gay, transgender, metrosexual person and or persons who found my post to be offensive when the person I was discussing it with, who is openly gay, did not. I apologize to you if by me complaining about this person, complaining about his broken fingernail, and telling him to either grow a pair or go have a sex change and become a woman, like the person he was whining like one that had broken her nail. So I said, you might as well be one. So this is what I was discussing. So I'm sorry I included him in your ranks, because you've dealt with worse things than a broken nail, fingernail, and never said a word about it. So I apologize for that. You know, sex and politics and religion are some very dangerous landmines. But if people don't talk about it and discuss it, and that's where the ignorance factor comes in. He said, she said. But I'm not afraid to own up to what I said. And if you got a problem with it, then bring it to me. Because I have no problem discussing it rationally like an adult. You don't have to believe what I believe, and I don't have to believe what you believe. But there's nothing wrong with us having intelligent conversations to find out what the other people's beliefs are, so that we understand each other better as a people. Okay, now, having said that, I still haven't done my homework. I'm getting to it. I didn't do any funny poems today. I was bad today. I drank 2 cups of coffee. I should have only had 1. So I'm probably going to end up getting a headache later on today for having too much caffeine. If I drink 1 cup of coffee, it usually stays off a migraine. If I drink more than 1, then I'm playing Russian roulette with the migraine. But the coffee was good today that I made. And so I drank another cup of it. So yeah. I didn't draw anything yesterday. I was watching Earth 2, and it was an episode about the spiders, so I had to keep pausing the video and stopping and going and doing the ooh, spiders, and then go back and start the video again. So I didn't do any art yesterday. So I'm gonna try doing that art journal thing that I see Andy and Sweet Pagan Rose doing, and then there's a group that they're in that I'm gonna try and do the art journal thing, and hopefully that'll help me with my artwork, as well as give me another way to, you know, put down my thoughts, my feelings, my poems, and things like that. So that's pretty much. Oh, y'all, thank you, husband, for cutting the grass. He cut the front yard and the backyard, and he weed eated. But I got off work a little late today, so by the time I got home, it's like drizzly, nasty, cool, cold outside. It was like 50 degrees, and to me that's cold. So I need to peep out in the backyard into the garden and see if the man accidentally destroyed some of my garden stuff. Because I haven't gotten a cage yet for my grapevine, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed that he didn't think my grapevine was some kind of weed and cut it down with the weed eater. So yeah. And as you can see, I'm starting to get a tan. I'm very happy about that. So I don't look as pale and pasty. And that's another thing. And that's kind of like, you know, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't with my skin, because going out in the sun, like this side is broke. This is like when I'm driving home, the sun is on this side of my face as I'm driving home, and I have the window up because it's tinted, and then I also have the visor down on that side. But so it's kind of like the sun kind of gets me at an angle this way, and so I got like at an angle. My skin has broken out and started blistering from the sun from driving home. So I got to put some of my steroid cream up there, and then these things are from ingrown hairs, and they they curl up and they go back under the skin, and then it end up getting like this big, it's not like a boil, it's just swollen, irritated, and it gets a head on it, and the hair kind of comes out where you can catch it with the tweezers and pull it out. But I probably should eventually save up and go and get some electrolysis to try and remove any, because they're scarring up my skin on my neck. And ever since the diabetes started, my skin, it scars and gets blemishes. I can get a mosquito bite and it'll leave a blemish even if I don't touch it, scratch it, or anything. It'll automatically leave a blemish now on my skin. And that's upsetting because I never had to deal with, serious skin problems growing up, like acne and things like that. So having to deal with it now, at this stage is very aggravating. So I must I guess I have to go see a dermatologist about something to help with the discoloration. I don't like it, but until those hairs die or don't grow back or whatever, I guess there's nothing I can really do about it, because every time a new one comes in, it's growing under my skin. So, and I see what men deal with now with hair bumps. Those that have to shave for their jobs and stuff, and having those ingrown hairs and all that stuff. So I commiserate now. I understand what you're going through. So, but yeah, that's my vlog today. And so my rant and advice for the day is, if you're going to tell a story, tell the whole story. Don't just run off and make something up, because it's basically what I consider happened. If you want to give your opinion, then feel free to give your opinion on what I said, but post what I said in its entirety. Not just the parts you want to say something about, but the entire conversation, so that people can see that, oh, this was an entire conversation that two people were having, and one of these people was actually gay. And then let people draw their own inferences or their own questions. Was a question ever asked, well, who were you talking about? And I would say, my FedEx guy, who is very metrosexual. And then we could go from there. So that's that. And then they were like, well, okay, she knows this person, so I guess she could talk about it. Well, yeah, I've known this person for 5 years. I pretty much, know what some of their likes and dislikes are, and they talk about the things they do and the vacations they go on and who they're spending their time with and things of that nature. So unless they're just telling an out and outright lie about their life, then I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about. So, but it ain't for you to always know what I'm talking about. But if you want to ask me, you could send me a message and say, hey, what are you talking about? Or you could do what you did today, and you could jump to conclusions and go tell your own story. And find people who believe what you believe, and then let them believe that your friend is not only is a bigot and a homophobe and all these other words that were being said that are not true. So, and I think that hurts worse than having someone who is gay or a transsexual actually come and tell me, hey, I found that offensive and this is why. Or that people will misconstrue what you said if they're not gay or homosexual, or not gay but a transsexual or metrosexual, and they don't understand the gist of the conversation. If they can't comprehend what you're saying, then they're going to try and find it offensive or try and make it offensive. So someone said, you said, just people are people. So yeah, that's what I had to deal with today. So, yeah, you take it with a grain of salt. So, but that's my vlog and my rant for the day. I can't remember your name, but you're on my messages, so I'll send you another message. I got an email back from one of the representatives at Edmark, and they said that any donations to Edmark, far as the blankets and stuff, would be very welcome. I think that if you're gonna do a blanket, to do it in acrylics. I told her to let me know if they have any children who might have any kind of allergies, and then we will look into doing a blanket, a special one for that child, in something like bamboo or wool, alpaca. Something, if they have any type of allergies to artificial fibers, then we could do one in a natural fiber, cotton, for that child. So they said, yeah, and this Edmark is a very good, it's a small organization. It's not like some of these real big ones, and it's local. It's local to the Hampton Roads, Tidewater area, most of it. And these nurses are going out to, these children are receiving hospice at home, with their families. These are very highly specialized pediatric nurses a lot of times, and it going out and helping these families so these children can be home with their mom and dad, not in a sterile hospital environment, and be with their brothers and sisters as they battle this disease, go into remission. Some have gone into remission for several years, but then there's those that they don't make it, but they are comfortable. They are in their home or surrounded by their loved ones. And that's one of the things I like about this organization. So yeah, if you can make donations, be it, if you can, a few dollars, then whatever you can send is appreciated. And like, I want to do the blankets because I want, like, as a parent, if one of my children were dying from cancer or some other type of disease, I would want something physical that I could hold long after that child was gone to give me comfort. And so a blanket is a special thing, and it's something that can be passed down, through the generation. Because not only that parent is losing that child, his brothers and sisters, if he has them, they're losing their brother or sister. I'm sorry, but it's very emotional to talk about it because, no one wants to go through that, but it's a part of life. And so I want to be able to give something so that that mother, that father, that little brother, sister has something of that child to keep. So if you can give. And that's it. It's been a very emotional day for me. So, yeah. So y'all take care.